Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Tell Me More show. My name is Ishana Grimsley, and I'm super excited to introduce a great mentor, Brandon. Brandon is someone who is on the debt-free journey, and I felt as though it would be really, really cool to start him off on our brand new series. So we will be highlighting more people of color who are on the debt-free journey with the intent to encourage you to get on the journey as well. So thank you so much, Brandon, for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
No problem. First of all, I remember when we first met, we met in a program called Momentum, where we go after our dreams and you use the support around you to do that. And Brandon mentioned one of his goals was to become debt free. And Brandon, I was like, what? Because first of all, you're from Hampton. Okay. Stand up, Hampton. Second
You
of
already
all,
know.
I love to see people of color just like very confident about their financial goals. So I would love for the audience to get to know you a little bit more.
Cool. Yeah. So again, my name is Brandon Northington. I'm originally from Georgetown, Kentucky, small town right outside of Lexington. I did attend Hampton University for undergrad, where I majored in business management with a minor in leadership studies. After undergrad, I attended Florida A&M University College of Law, where I received my Juris Doctorate. I relocated to DC with my then girlfriend, now wife, and have been practicing law for about 8 years now.
First of all, I love your wife, Erica. And second of all, you are the GOAT for all legal questions because you know I hit you up when I was a little pickle. But let's get back to the conversation at hand and let's go into a little bit about your journey. So, can you tell the audience a little bit about your debt story? And you mentioned a little bit about going to school. What other pieces of debt have you accumulated in this time?
Got it. So majority of my debt, of course, is student loans, right? So Hampton, I love it so much. I wish it wasn't so much money, right? But still got a lot of student loan debt there. Obviously, going to law school. I married a lawyer, so we put those debts together. So that's pretty crazy. Then we got married, and so we had some, but not enough. So I had to credit cards, different things. We really wanted to make the occasion special, and so we had that. Then just life, credit cards, right? Just trying to make it here, there. Got a emergency flight, got to go back home, whatever. Just trying to make ends meet, and so that's really where the debt was. Primarily student loan debt, some credit card debt, stuff from the wedding, kind of thrown in there as well, and then cars. Well, car, but now cars. But yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah.
But that sounds like real life items that you need. First of all, the wedding. I used to watch wedding shows, and they will talk about how people are dropping $20,000, $30,000. I did not realize a wedding could be so expensive.
First of all, listen, I had to buy the ring, right? So like right there,
Yes.
I took my first little check I got when I started working as assistant state attorney, and went to K and made it happen. Was it got that paid off, but that was before the student loans had kicked back in because I was still in deferment because I recently graduated from law school. But then they came. It was like, hey, it's time to start paying. I was like, whoa, hey, we just getting in the swing of this thing. Let me be great for a little bit, but it got real quick. So once the student loans start kicking in, that's when things really kind of changed for me. I'm looking at my check at the end of the day like, ooh, I can't do the things I want to do because this ain't it. So I had to make some things change a little bit.
That is the interesting part. Knowing on paper that you should be like spinning all over the place because you got it, and then the bills come in, and you're looking at all the bills and questioning what happened to all my money. I do that all the time. Now that I'm moving out of this apartment, it's a little bit different, but I understand where you're coming from. So, okay, so you mentioned you have credit cards, your car, life just happening, right? So I know you mentioned that in passing before this interview that you've already started paying off some of your debts. So what are some of the debts that you have paid off, and what was your strategy to knock those out?
Yeah, so paid off my wife's car, her credit card, got that together, knocked out two credit cards of my own, Got one of my private student loans paid off. So that's been the big so far, and that was like 60K.
Mm-hmm. You knocked out. So what was your strategy? Did you use the snowball method where you focused only on one and then you continue to use the leftover money to address the next one? Or did you prioritize, wow, what's wrong with my words? Prioritize whatever had the most interest? What was your method?
So yeah, I'm definitely familiar with those methods. Erica didn't have that much left on her car, so I was like, boom, let's just knock this out. Saw her credit card; she had less credit card debt than me, so I was like, boom, let's just get that knocked out, right? So I guess it's kind of like snowball there, right? Start knocking out those little things, and then my student loan, my father co-signed on it, and so I really wanted to, free him up so he could do the things he wants to do. So for me, it was like, let me get that taken care of. Very appreciative that he signed that for me when I was in college, but I just wanted to let him be able to, if he wants to buy another home or whatever he has planned. So knock that out. And then just was like, okay, I got these little bills here. Let me just start knocking these out, and just started attacking them and just going at it. And so that was the method. It was organized chaos. There was no like plan, if you will. It was just like, okay, this is 2K, boom, got it. Let's knock that out. On to the next, on to the next.
So it sounds like you just focused on one at a time.
Yeah.
That was mostly your method, which I think works because when you are focused, there's like Dave Ramsey, he says Giselle focus. Like you have to be really, really focused on one thing so you can knock it out and then you can build momentum for the next one. And I think that is a really, really good method. I'm trying to do that right now with my student loans, but my student loans are the only debt I have at this time. But I feel as though if I had multiple things, I would probably knock out whatever's the least.
Yeah. So like one day, Eric and I, we were riding around and we put on Dave Ramsey's his book. We listened to audio. It was like 2 hours, and so we listened to the whole thing that day. And so I'm driving, Eric's taking notes, and I'm like, hey, write that down for me, whatever, and really, getting that information. And that was really kind of like the start of our journey, just trying to figure out different strategies. And then we got serious about it. And so the question becomes, I think there's two ways you could do it. Dave Ramsey's method is like, okay, tighten up the budget, tighten up your belt, live on nothing, live how others aren't willing to, so you can live how others can, whatever the catchphrase is, right? And so I get that. I just wasn't prepared to do that, right? I mean, that's a lot to do. And, I didn't want to do that. And so the only other way I could think of was like, make more money, right? And it's easier said than done, right? Just go get more so you can pay stuff off. And so how do you do it? So I just was interested in learning all different kind of ways to make extra money. I'm an attorney. People think, attorneys make so much money. And if you work on like, K Street in DC and you work, whatever, but that's not, I'm a trial attorney, so I don't make as much as, some of my colleagues who do that type of work. My hours aren't as long either, but that's another discussion. And so it's just like, how can I make the difference? And so I started looking up, again, just different ways I can make some type of passive income, some things I could build. And I left no stone unturned. I've done almost like everything. I'm not afraid to do something. I'll do something. I'll try it. It'll work. Maybe get a couple thousand here, whatever. Doesn't work. But I'm always looking for opportunities and trying to figure out how can I make an extra dollar here or there, and still be able to maintain my full-time job, but do something on the side. I've been very successful with that.
So can you tell us some of the strategies you used? Because that is one of the questions I feel like a lot of people have. We know that you can only budget so far. If you make $20, you have to pay your bills and you only have $1 left.
Right.
How can you get yourself out of debt? It will take years. So can you give us some of your gems? What are, maybe if you don't mind to give us at least 3. You can give us more, but at least
3. Yeah, for sure. I love e-commerce. There's so many ways to make money online. And like, if you provide a service, you're only one person. And so unless you can replicate yourself, how do you really monetize that service, right? You maybe write a book, a podcast, some kind of way, right? But like if you're, let's say, an accountant, for example, right? This is what you do. You maybe hire someone else, right? It's tough. But with products, you can have how many mouse, how many mouse gonna have, or phones, whatever the product is, and just sell. And so the idea of, I had heard about drop shipping before, never looked into it. But then a good friend of mine, he told me about fulfillment by Amazon, which was, you buy a product from China, Alibaba, something like that. You send it to Amazon's warehouse, they store it for you. People go on Amazon, they buy it, Amazon ships it out for you. I was like, oh, all right, yeah, let's look into this. And so whenever I hear something, I'm going straight to YouTube University, right? I have, I got a degree from Hampton and from FAMU, but I'm telling you, I got another one from University of YouTube for sure, because they taught me a lot, and I spent time on it. So when I'm interested in something, I'm looking at YouTube. I'm finding blogs about it. I'm listening to podcasts about it. I'm fully vested in that. I'm in the morning taking showers, listening to podcasts. When I'm driving to work, pre-COVID, right? In the car, listening to podcasts about that topic. I'm learning as much as I can about that. And so my greatest success at this point has been filming by Amazon. And it was a fluke, random mistake, but when I'm so glad it happened, right? So like the circumstances are wish it never happened, right? But you understand what I'm saying. So a friend tells me about this, and so I go on YouTube, and it's like, you want to find a product that's lightweight, that's inexpensive, and it's not competitive on Amazon. And so I'm searching through products. I mean, I just look around, and I would, see pencil. And so then I'm looking on Amazon. And so then you just get deeper and deeper. The pencil takes you to a book. The book takes you to a barrette. Barrette takes you to eyelashes. You just start finding stuff. And there's different tools that you can use when you're on Amazon to see, how much people are selling, how much they're making, what the products cost. And so I'm just running all the numbers, what makes sense. And in 2018, I came across a product that now we all know and use every single day. But in 2018, I didn't know. I ordered 100,000 face masks.
No! Oh my God.
I got the receipts. I did. I ordered 100,000 face masks in 2018. Again, it's lightweight. It's not electric. It's not going to break, and it wasn't very competitive on Amazon. But with Amazon, again, it's not easy. These things take work, but if you can build something, then it can work for you. But I can never get to the front page. So I'm doing all the things that I'm seeing on YouTube, and I just wasn't able to get to the front page. I ordered 100,000 face masks in 2018. It cost me $2,000. And so I couldn't get to the front page. And so I was like, I tried, I kind of walked away from it, right? Moved on. I'm looking at wholesale real estate, Airbnb, which I did Airbnb. We could talk about that. And so then, as we all know, a pandemic hits, and everyone's on the news talking about face masks. And I was like, in the back of my mind, it's like I knew I had them, but I wasn't really thinking about them. And so my mother-in-law, who's a nurse down in Georgia, for the jail in Fulton County, they didn't have masks, they didn't have gowns, they didn't have anything. And it just so happened that my best friend that same day, he was like, Brandon, don't you got gloves? I was like, I got some masks. And so then my mother-in-law in there, I was like, I got some masks. Let me find out. So mind you, this was for 2 years, and I had kind of walked away from it. And so I go on my Amazon account, and I still have the masks. They're still in the warehouse in Texas. But I had to pay my back storage fees. I had to pay $6,000 of back storage fees because I had walked away, and I thought I had canceled something. Obviously, I didn't cancel it. So glad I did. Again, obviously, I hate that the pandemic happened. I hate that anyone lost their life, right?
Absolutely.
But I was uniquely situated. In March of 2020, I had face masks, and so I paid my bag fees, $6,000. I just ran on a credit card. I didn't have $6,000. I was like, you know what? I think I could make this worthwhile, right? But again, I was very fortunate. My best friend, who I met at Hampton, with freshman roommates, he serves clients. He has hospitals, universities, municipalities. Like, these are his clients. They were in need of face masks, and so he said, "Hey, Brandon, I'll match you up with my clients. Reach out to them to see if there's a need." There was a need. And so my thought when I got the face mask in 2018, I put 2,000 in, I'll make 10,000, profit 8, right? So I'm like, okay, get a little flip. I had a little less than 95,000 masks. I sold all of them in 3 weeks. To the hospitals, universities. And so I took that money and I bought more face masks, and I sold those. And I took that money and bought. And I just kept flipping it up, and it was crazy. I mean, during the pandemic, I'm working from home. I'm at full time at Geico at that point, so I'm running my law stuff, doing Geico. I'm running on the side, doing face masks, and at that point, we also had an Airbnb. So I'm managing the Airbnb. So like pandemic, like March, April, May, was crazy. I'm running 3 full-time jobs, but was making a lot of money. And I was helping folks, right? I wasn't price gouging. I had a sales team. I built a business. Like at the drop of it, I had to create an LLC. I created a website. I think things just started moving, and like I said, very fortunate, very blessed to have been in that situation. It was so random. Obviously, I could not have predicted there was going to be a pandemic, right? If I had, I would have had way more than 100,000. I would have had a whole lot more. But it really put me in a situation. It was life changing. And so that's been my biggest success. And I still believe in the e-commerce model. I mean, I'm still really interested in it now. At this point, the mass market is incredibly saturated. And I've sold nearly 750,000 masks, across the country, from California, New York, Florida, Detroit. I mean, everywhere. But so that was so life changing for me. But I did all the research, I did the work, and that's what happened.
I think, well, first of all, the pandemic, no one could have expected this would have happened and has gone on for so long. Like, this was unexpected, but the fact that you walked away from something and it ended up coming right back for you, that's faith. You just jumped out on faith and it worked out.
Yeah, I took the 2K. I didn't really have it. I took it out of my my retirement because I really wanted to let's start a business, and Brandon, you shouldn't do that or this or that. And again, that's the right advice, right? Like, I understand, like, I should not have done that, but if I hadn't, things would have been incredibly different.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, I have to tell you, Brandon, you only gave us 2. You gave us 2 things. We need one more.
So one more. So so I talked about fulfillment, but also so drop shipping as well, right? So
yes,
I've been playing around with drop shipping. And so for those who may not know what drop shipping is, of course, you list a product on, let's say, like eBay, for $100. You buy it at HomeDepot.com for $50. You sell it, you get the difference. And I made a couple $100 doing that, just very passively. There's tools you can use that automatically have things running. But again, I'm always looking for ways. Like, anytime I learn about a new opportunity to make some money, I'm looking into it. What can I do? How can we flip this and that? And I'm always looking at opportunities to monetize things, right? And people say you shouldn't chase money or these different things, but I disagree. I'm on a paper chase. Like, I don't wake up in the morning and check my oxygen levels, right? I don't say, I could only breathe so many breaths today because my levels are low, right? Like, I don't want to necessarily check my bank account in that fashion, right? And at one point I had to, I was really like, if my check don't hit tonight at midnight, tomorrow I don't know how I'm going to eat. There was some tough times out here. Things are definitely different now, and I'm very fortunate. But I'm still, working to knock out the rest of the debt that I have. Hopefully Biden, Congress, whoever, they forget these federal loans, and that's something else. But if they don't, working on stacking up so I could just wipe that out myself. So that, I could do some other things. So those would be my Airbnb was great. I didn't own the property, I rented it. Airbnb arbitrage, great business model, highly recommended. Maybe 4,000 to 5,000 to get into it, but you can make so much money doing that.
I need to talk to you about that one.
Yeah, listen, I'm here. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
So, okay. So just to recap, the 3 that you gave everyone is renting out or doing an Airbnb for a location. You talked about drop shipping, and you also talked about Amazon's platform and how you can market things. And if you do end up going down that route, then you want to find something that's lightweight, cheap, You can get it off your hands really quick. It's not in high demand, right?
Well,
Or
you want it to be in demand, but it's not competitive.
It's not competitive.
On Amazon, yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully that helps somebody out there. I know it helped me, and I will be taking note of those 3 things. But you said something while you were talking. So you always stay motivated. Do you feel as though you're just a naturally motivated person, or your experiences allowed you to be motivated? Because I know for me, sometimes I get a little bit fatigued with always trying to find something new to help me get past my debt. So what keeps you motivated?
Seeing the results for sure, that's always good. But I have my ups and my downs like anyone else, right?
Mhm.
When I was at my last position, I definitely was in a low point where I was not a low point, but I wasn't doing the things that I was accustomed to doing. I've never just been a person, in the past X amount of years where I'm just doing law. Like the legal gig, it's fine, right? I'm not married to being an attorney. When you're a kid and you say you want to be a lawyer, everyone pushes you in that direction. So I'm an attorney, and it's great, right? Like I love what I do, it's cool. But if I found something else, I wouldn't necessarily have to be a lawyer anymore. And so I I'm on the search for building businesses and creating financial freedom, right? People want it and talk about it. What does that mean? What does it look like for you? For me, it's time. I
Yeah.
want to build things that are able to run and operate without my full involvement, so I can do the things I want to love with the people that I love. And that's my motivation. Like during this pandemic, I've loved working remote. I've loved being able to go to Atlanta and we're chilling out there 2-3 weeks. And I'm seeing family, I'm seeing friends, I'm doing work, right? I've loved being able to go back home to Kentucky. Same thing, right? Like, as things are starting to kind of open back up, it's like, oh, we're going back into the office. I don't want to go back.
No, I
Right?
don't either.
I don't want to go back. I like this freedom and flexibility. And so, I'm at the point where it's like, if they're talking about going back, I may not go back, and I've built and I have enough resources that I'll be okay doing so. So my motivation, I'm just looking at, how do I see my life? What type of life do I want to live? And is it working every day for someone else? Or is it, working for myself, for my family, building towards something that I can pass down to the next and to the next? And, that keeps me going.
I love that. And honestly, I already know your children, your family, the legacy you're building, they will always thank you for the work that you're doing right now. So I really appreciate you sharing that. And I know we're getting close to the time. So we have 2 more questions that I think the audience will enjoy. So just final cap of how much did you pay off as of today? How much have you paid off on your debt?
So last year was like 60. This year, probably. So at about 90, probably like 90,000. I've knocked out. So I bought a new car. So, I was able to put down a large payment on that. I'll probably pay it off here in the next month or so. And looking to knock out my last private loan and then really just focus on these federal loans, and that'll be that. And start, saving up for a house and furniture and those kind of things.
Brandon, that is so dope. Oh,
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh yeah. That is amazing. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Imagine like the champagne and the confetti
yeah.
tossed out.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future I'll have that, like confetti.
Oh, for sure. It's not no maybe. It's just a matter of time. It's kind of like what we were talking about a little earlier. It's now that some money is not tied up, right? And I'm doing things I've never done before. I'm making purchases I've never purchased. Like I'm doing the things, and it feels good, right? We work hard for our money, and obviously it's like I want to get out of debt, but it's like I want to enjoy things and places and experiences as well, And so it's refreshing to be able to do that and not have to, look at my bank account, right? Like I'm not just out here buying like $1,000, tennis shoes, whatever is right. But it's like the things that I'm doing, I'm not concerned because I know I got it, right? And I feel different. I move different, and it's I want that for everybody.
I want that too. Yes, I want that for the audience too.
Absolutely, yeah.
So last thing, what do you feel like is your biggest lesson learned through this entire journey that you could share?
It's really focus, right? There's so many ways to get it money, right? There's so many ways, and it's very easy to, you're learning about drop shipping and you're focused on that, and then you hear about this, and to get distracted. I'd say just dig deep on one thing, master that, and you can make it. Like, again, there's so many ways. I mean, people got Forex, and they're doing option trading, they're doing, cryptocurrency, and now, drop shipping, Uber, Lyft, and Airbnb. There's so many ways. Just find one that you like. Look at the different models, find one you like, and just laser focus on that, and you got it. And the secret sauce, I think, is, I call it the CDC, right? Choice, discipline, consistency. With those three things, you can do anything.
I love that. And funny enough, this year my word is intentional, and that aligns so much. Yeah. So I want to say thank you so much, Brandon, for dropping so many gems. I cannot wait for everyone to hear what you have to say. And thank you to everybody who has been following PMM Consulting. Make sure before you leave this video, you subscribe to this channel, because we will have a lot more conversations going on. And also make sure you follow me at Eshana.g. And down below, I will make sure I tag Brandon's profile as well as mine, so that you can stay connected with us. So thank you so much for joining. All right, Brandon, I'm going to catch you back on the Zoom.
All right.
Bye.